Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back into my channel. So in this demo, we're going to work with AWS CLI. So it says configuration, and credential file settings. So these are the cheat sheet with AWS. So doc.awsamazon.com, kind of giving you different commands to use on the configuration of the access keys and stuff. So what we're going to do is let's go ahead and use, I'm sorry, strip on the portal. What we can do is say here we go on all services, the dashboard, just back out here. Say we go to dashboard. And all you want to do is just go to users. Now I have a username. I have a user here named Tom. So down the user here, I'm going to use to click on security credential. You say manage control access, assign, and down here I can create an access key. See that we click here or here. So it says that, let's go ahead. So access key best practice and alternative. Avoid using long-term credential like access key to improve your security. Consider the following use cases and alternative. So you could use command line interface. You plan to use this access key to enable the AWS CLI to access your AWS account. You could either use local code. So you plan to use this access key to enable application code in a local development environment to access your AWS account. You could either use application running on AWS compute service is when you plan to use this access key to enable application code running on the AWS compute service like like Amazon EC2, Elastic Cloud Compute, or Amazon ECS, which is Elastic Cloud services. So ECS is Elastic Container Services. I'm sorry, you could use Amazon ECS or AWS Lambda to access your AWS account. You could use third-party services, and you plan to use this access key to enable access for a third-party application or service that monitors or manages your AWS resources. You could use your application running outside of AWS, so you plan to use this access key to enable an application running on premises host, or to use the local AWS client or third-party AWS plugins. And you have others. So on this case, we're gonna use the CLI. So let's select here CLI, and down here it display an alternative recommendation is to use AWS Cloud Shell, which you could use by clicking here. Let's say, yep, so preparing terminal, yeah. But that's not what we're using here. We're gonna use the CLI, so let's just close this. And you could use like the AWS CLI version 2 to enable authentication through a user in IAM Identity Center. So let me go ahead and say I understand the above recommendation and want to proceed to create an access key. Next. So description tag value, if you want to, you could type in a description tag value, or if you want, you can leave that here. Let's just say demo CLI access key. But it don't matter. You could leave this empty, so it make no difference. So now you click next, and it says what? This is the only time that the access key can be viewed or download. You cannot recover it later. However, you can create a new access key anytime. So I'm gonna click done, continue. You have it. View or download your access key. If you continue, you cannot retrieve. So I mean to do that just to show you what's gonna happen. So basically what we could do now, let's just shrink this. I would say, yep. Let's just shrink this and pull the CLI command. And so we could do AWS configure. Configure. Now let's just copy this access key and let's paste it. Now it asks for the access secret, which is this one here. Let's just copy it. Let's paste it here. What do we got? You see? Now it's going to ask you for a default region name. So for the default region name, guys, all you got to do is just go here. It's gonna display. Mine is the East US. That's what I'm gonna use more. So the way to type it is to type it US East 1. But any location that you use more often, you could use that. It don't matter. So I will type in the let me see. It was US East 1. So it's US dot East 1. And now it asks you for text or whatever. Could either put a text or just hit enter for the default output. And there now you download your access key. So I can go here and hit download and just hit that. So now my access key has been created. Now, there's a couple of the commands that you can use just to verify your access key. It says AWS configuration list profile or AWS configure list. Let's see something. Let's just copy this and see something. And let's go here. Let's just paste this. So you see, it kind of shows you. So the AWS configure list. So what that is the AWS configure list. It's a list of AWS CLI configuration data. So this command is used to show you the current configuration data. So for each configuration item, it will show you the value, where the configuration value was retrieved, and the configuration variable name. So you see it shows here the name, the value, and the location type. So if we had one, then it would show it here. Now for the profile, it shows you not set. So it means we haven't set a value here for any profile. and for the type is none, and the location is none. But when you get down here to the access keys, since we have had configure an access key, so it's kind of display that here, and the secret key as we did, it shows that here as well. And the region, it shows that the region that we just type in. So I think this is pretty handy. It's kind of showing you everything that we have done so far. So let's just switch back over here. Let's say if I go here, so it says that the AWS configure list profile, we done that. Oh yeah. Yeah, so we use this one here, the AWS configure list. Let me see something. Yeah, the AWS configure list. So we have done that. So let's say if we were to use the AWS configure list profiles. So it says to list all your profile names, use the AWS configure list profile command. So this is not magic. You could just visit this website, docs.aws.amazon.com, and I'm going to leave a link of this website in the bottom of the description page. You could use that yourself if you want to. And just play with that and get too familiar with them if you something that'll be interesting to you. So let's just copy this and switch back over. Let's just go and paste this. And now there we go. It kind of showing you the list of the configure list profile. So the profile, something, it's just the, display here this by default. So it says list profile. So what that is it's just to list all your profile names. So use the AWS configure list profile command. It kind of run this command to quickly set and view your AWS IAM identity center, so successor to AWS single sign-in on. So the credential, the region, and the output format. So let's just go ahead and let's say if you want to play with this too. So the AWS configure single sign-on. So let's see. It says that run this command to quickly set and view your AWS IAM credential center. It's a successor to the AWS single sign-on credential region and output format. So the following example shows simple values. I can copy this, then I can switch back over. And let me just go ahead and paste this here and see what we have here. It says that single sign-in, session name, recommend. So I could type this in, my single sign-on, and just paste it. So it says the single sign-on start URL none. Just go back here. I can copy this and paste that in and hit enter. So it says the single sign-on region none. We go here. I was using the East US one. I can paste this here and I can hit enter. So it says that single sign-on registration scope and the single sign-on account access. So let's switch back over again. That's what we have. We could just copy this and switch back over and paste this and hit enter. So bingo. So you can see how magic these things could work for you if you just love them and work with them. So my portal username, I could call my username, say my username was Tom, and my password, and let's just, I don't remember my password, but basically this is something that you could play with and get to do your own stuff. So enter the code, bang, bang, bang. Let's see if I can exit out. What is it says? Attempting to automatically open the single sign-on authorization page in your default browser. If the browser does not open, or you wish to use a different device to authorize this device, so open the URL, bang, bang, bang. Ask me to enter a code. So, sure. So basically, let's just type in CD and see if this will allow us to get out. So I'm not sure why. Just X out of here and see something. So let's open another one. And now let's just go back to this. Bang, bang, bang. So that's where we were. So we could do the AWS configure single sign-in session to. So these are all the things that you could do. So that's just the IAM. And guess what though? So it says setting new configuration and credential comment example. So the following example shows configuring a default profile with credentials, region, and output specified for different authentication method. So the IAM identity center single sign-on, but if you switch here, it will give you the IAM identity center for legacy single sign-on and short-term credential, the IAM, and Amazon EC2 instance metadata credential and long-term credentials. So guys, again, this is pretty handy. That's the migration guide and stuff. I think if it's something that you'll be interested into, you could visit this website and get too familiar with these things, and that will kind of help you if your goal is to become a cloud engineer or cloud administrator or cloud architect and stuff like that. There's different roles and position in those jobs. There's places that a cloud architect could be a very handy, do a lot of configuration, but there's places too, all you got to do is just design and just hand your project over to a cloud engineer to do the hands-on. But again, just stay tuned. We're gonna go ahead and do certain things together and learn together. So here down here says that using the AWS CLI. So that pretty handy. It will kind of showing you. So getting help with the AWS CLI command structure in the AWS CLI. Let me see this. Yeah, so it's kind of explanatory. So this is very helpful, guys. As we doing it, we're learning these things too as well. So again, stay tuned for another live configuration. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.